So I do understand the logic of why Fire Lord Sozin decided to attack the air nomads first. Obviously, he wanted to get rid of the Avatar. However, there was a more efficient way to do it, to start the war and to achieve Sozin's goals, but obviously, due to plot reasons, that didn't happen. So let's think of this from Sozin's perspective first. He wants to start the war, and he has the opportunity because Roku, the full trained Avatar, is no longer around, and so the new Avatar is just a child. However, Sozin also knows that in the long term, it's going to take a really long time to conquer the Earth Kingdom, and within that time, the Avatar will have time to grow up, to master waterbending, earthbending, and firebending, and then come fight him. So Sozin knows that since he's going to be busy and preoccupied with the war, he has to deal with the threats preemptively. So that's why he attacked the air nomads first, to take care of the potential problem that he would have later. But obviously that didn't work out because Aang had already run away and he didn't, Sozin couldn't find him, and so Sozin just searched all over for him. And meanwhile, the war took 100 years to finish. So here's a different way that Sozin could have done it, and it would have been much more efficient. He could have begun by attacking the Earth Kingdom. And what I mean is he could have used the Comet to attack the Earth Kingdom first, and which is so similarly to how Ozai was trying to use Sozin's Comet to destroy the Earth Kingdom. Sozin could have actually started with that. So he could have used the Comet to destroy the entire Earth Kingdom outright, and then the Fire Nation would have effectively won the war in one strike. Fire Nation would conquer, would burn down the Earth Kingdom and colonize what's left of it. The, maybe build new parts on the ashes, and then at that point, only the Fire Nation, the air nomads, and the water tribes would be left. So there would really be no more world to save because the Fire Nation would have already won the war. So that would have been incredibly efficient and very effective in securing Zozin's goals. Now, however, obviously the Avatar would still be out there, but Aang was frozen in ice, so who knows when he would have been found and thought, and even if he had been, like, it would have been too late anyway because there wouldn't be a world to save, as I said. And another tricky thing, though, is I guess if that had happened, if Sozin had just wiped out the Earth Kingdom first, maybe it would have given the air nomads some more time to search for Aang. So maybe Gyatso or someone would have found Aang and unfrozen him. And so maybe he would have gone back to the air temples and then trained some more, and then they would have sent him to the northern and southern water tribes to learn waterbending, but then he wouldn't have anyone to teach him earthbending because the Earth Kingdom would just be a bunch of ash. So don't know how it would go from there. Not really sure. And I'm also curious because Sozin, obviously, the goal was to conquer the world, but obviously during Sozin's lifetime, he just wiped out the air nomads and then went on to the Earth Kingdom. But obviously, we know that his long-term goals were more expansive, and but it ended up being Fire Lord Sozin's son, Fire Lord Azulon, who really attacked the water tribes, and he attacked the southern water tribe and pretty much destroyed it. But that was just to make sure that the waterbenders couldn't help in the war. So I'm not really sure how much interest Sozin would have had in the frozen lands, the northern and southern water tribes, and in the on the air temples. And I'm also not sure how the water tribes and the air temples would have necessarily reacted to the Fire Nation. I'm sure they would have been horrified, but the air nomads wouldn't offensively attack, and the water tribes are pretty um, reclusive, so not really sure they would have engaged with the Fire Nation. So I think the best case scenario, Sozin just burns down the entire Earth Kingdom and he just wins the war, and that's the end of it, and that's pretty much it. And then maybe many years later, during the harmonic convergence, perhaps the Earthbenders come back like the Airbenders did in the actual real timeline, but that might be a conversation for another time. So basically, I think that the most effective way Sozin could have done it was to attack the Earth Kingdom first with the comet and wipe it out, and thus win the war.